Hello, 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 everybody. It is me, your host in HBIC, Slightly Bitta, here for another reality TV recap, where today we are going to be spilling all the tea, all the shade, and all the pink lemonade on Survivor 49, Episode 8. So, I was live a little bit before. Thank you to those that were joining me. There was a little bit of a lagging problem, so today I am going to be going through StreamYard, and hopefully I can fix those issues for next time. Thanks. So, I have not been covering Survivor that much this season. The reason was I have not really been all that impressed with the episodes until tonight. I have felt like this season has been an appetizer for what season 50 is going to bring to the table. But tonight, everything kind of came clear of what we can expect from Survivor moving forward. I am somebody that likes seeing fierce gameplay, people that are going to play the game hard, that are not afraid to speak their mind and, hurt some people's feelings if they have to. I also don't want to see people that feel like they're PR trained. And I felt like this episode was the first time in quite a few seasons that I did not feel like the cast was putting on a facade. Now, there were people that still were giving me that vibe. Jawan. But others, I did not get that. So as you may have noticed, the title for this episode is MC is an Idiot. And spoiler alert, she obviously was voted off. Now, I would assume if you're watching a recap, you don't really need a spoiler alert because obviously I'm going to tell you what the fuck happened in the episode. I have to say that I have watched pretty much every single season of Survivor, and I have seen a lot of really bad players. MC is like at the top for the new era. It's bad. And I'm disappointed because if you watched one of my pre-game recap where I was saying what I think about each player and how I feel they're going to do in the competition, I had her towards the top of my shit. And I'm kind of embarrassed about that shit now. I thought that this girl was going to come in. She's barely seen the show, but she thought it was cool. She applied, she got on, and she was just going to take it by the balls. But week after week after week, it became very clear to me that, if you didn't beast out those immunity challenges, you might not have lasted all that long. From being roped into an alliance, what's the word? Begrudgingly, and very transparent how begrudging you were about going into the alliance. Then to how that whole situation with Nate was handled when they were on the little exile island thing. And then how she handled the situation with Savannah. And mind you, Savannah was not perfect in that situation either with the idol. That should have been a bonding moment for those two. And then tonight was the cherry on top. I could forgive all the other stuff. But tonight, MC, man, that was some embarrassing ass shit. I mean, I will give her this, though. She is probably one of the best challenge players Survivor has ever seen. She was a beast in all of those tribe challenges. That was very impressive on her part. Unfortunately, though, I see why you were an alternate. And same goes for Jason. And kudos to you guys. They got on the show. But now I see why they were alternates. I don't think that MC and Jason were ready. Maybe MC needed a little bit more time to cook, to watch the show, to see that you really shouldn't blab your mouth when there's only 4 people eligible to go or 5 people eligible to go. Maybe if she came back for 51 or 52 instead, maybe she would have done a little better. But I don't want to harp on this the entire time because we do have a whole episode to talk about, and I will get to that point later. So let's dive into season 49, episode 8. I actually made notes. Hella organized today. So previously on Survivor 49, they merged, finally. This is the longest it's ever taken for a merge. They're down to 11 motherfuckers. And there's no earn the merge this time. I liked that. Shaking it up a little bit, you know? I like to have a little bit of pizzazz, a little spice in my new era. And I appreciate that. Even though I guess Jeff said after the fact that it was not on purpose. So they do that. It looks like Uli has all the power in the shit. Uli has the control. But they have forgotten that they have pissed off Sage and Jawan because they let them on the bottom. And because of that, Sage and Jawan don't fuck with them. And sneakily undercover, they flip the vote and they take out Black Panther Nate. Well, creator of Black Panther, Nate, who I didn't really give a shit he left. Sorry, Nate. I really didn't care that you were gone. So now going into tonight, Savannah, Sophie B, and Rizzo all are on the bottom and were left out of the vote. And what are they going to do to survive? We got to find out, bitch. Anyways, so they come back to camp from last episode, and Savannah, Sophie, Rizzo, they're in their feelings, and they got to do, you know, damage control. That's what you normally do. I mean, there's not really a whole lot to say. For me, people say that, oh, when I need to do damage control now or whatever. I felt like Savannah was so transparent. Am I the only one that felt that way? Maybe it's just because I'm from a viewer perspective, but I like Savannah coming up to everyone being like, you know what, guys, I'm just glad it wasn't me. You know, I could get why no one trusted her. Because if I just blindsided you and you had the tribe majority, you can't tell me that you're not feeling some kind of way in some way, shape, or form. To me, that's phony. If I was in the competition, I would rather someone just be honest about feeling fucked over. And that's just how I am, but everyone else is different, you know. So Rizzo and Savannah and Sophie all take the approach of doing damage control, being apologetic. They're not upset about it at all. But all three of them are pissed. And of course they're all pissed. And they all want to get their revenge. They all want to have their moment. I know these are three very powerful players. These are the three players that I said from the very beginning of this shit. These are the gamers. These are the only three gamers I saw, to be honest with you, from the start. While I felt that last episode, taking out Nate was the most sound move because Nate was the safest option. He was the least likely to have an idol played on him. I feel like the others pussied out and screwed themselves over by leaving these three in the competition. No shade to Nate, but I don't think that Nate would have been able to strategize himself out of a dildo, let alone out of a new supermajority that has just formed on this beach. These three, I think that they could. And now you've got Rizzo, who still has his idol. He held on to that shit for dear life. And little does anyone know, Sophie B has knowledge is power. So now you got three people in a trio, and two of them have an advantage. Not so easy now to knock them out. I thought that Sophie's conversation with Alex was very interesting, just because if I was in Sophie's position, I would be side-eyeing the hell out of Alex for not warning me about what was going to go down. Now, if Alex had warned Sophie, or Soph, whatever the fuck you want to call it, that bitch is my friend, so I'm calling her Sophie, okay? I'm not doing all this Sophie bullshit, okay? That's my Sophie B, okay? Okay. So Sophie's talking to Alex, and she's just like, no, I get it, blah, blah, blah. And then Alex, like, I wouldn't trust Alex as far as I could throw him. I wouldn't even want to pick that bitch up. He is just so, like, smile in your face, like college campus greeter vibes. Like, I don't get a genuine thing out of him. And to me, he's a terrible ally because you could have told Sophie what the plan was. You played this game from the very beginning with her, from day one. And if you warned her ahead of time what the plan was, would she have flipped it? Knowing Sophie, maybe she would have. But there's also a good chance that Sophie would not have, that Sophie would have just jumped off the sinking ship. Or maybe you if you're trying to do this like Jason Guy, Danielle Reyes type of thing, where you stay on opposite sides, which is a very smart move. If these two were smart, Alex, you stay with Hina. Me, I'll stay with Uli. That way we know what's going on both sides of the camp. But that's not what I see happening. But if Alex would have warned her, maybe she could have just stayed on Nate and let Nate go home so they could keep the power on both sides. But I think that Sophie needs to get rid of Alex like the first chance that she can. And Alex would not even be here if it wasn't for that idol. Speaking of idols, MC's idol play has put a damper on her relationships in camp. Now, this is an aspect of idol plays that is not shown often. I feel like typically when people play idols on Survivor, they get like a kudos, they get a round of applause, even if no one knew that they had them or they didn't need to use it. But motherfuckers are salty that she did not tell them about this idol. My question is, did Savannah not tell on her? Or not? I would have thought Savannah would have like ratted her out to everybody after the Nyanka Mixon-esque pummel to the ground for that idol. But I guess she didn't. So that her Hina allies, the fuck. So her Hina allies are like, oh, I don't know if I can trust her anymore. She played the idol, blah 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 blah. Okay, and then Jawan, of all people, is like, he's like pissed off about not being told. First of all, who are you to MC? You have not spent a single day on the beach with MC. Why? And I know I'm calling MC an idiot in the title of this video, but you are not entitled to MC knowing about MC's idol. That was just very weird to me. I did not understand that from Jawan's perspective at all. But what was even weirder to me was the MC like being sad about Jawan. At the end of the day, don't you have an alliance with Christina and Steven? Oh, you lost a bad hair day, whatever his name was. But you have your 3 already. You already have your 3. So you're fine. And then you've got Sophie and your Hina people. Jawan and Sage made their bed. Now they can lie in it, and they have no choice but to go with you. I don't know. So Savannah, Sophie, Rizzo shitting bricks, MC shitting bricks. And it's determined that Savannah should be the target because Savannah, of the 3, between Sophie B and Rizzo and Savannah, she's the most threatening. And Sophie basically says, if I need to jump ship, I'm willing to jump ship. Do I want to? No. But I didn't come here to make friends. I came here to win this. And that's what I love about Sophie. Sophie is here to play, and she means that shit. And no matter how much she likes you, if she's got to take you out, she's going to take you out. I respect that about a player. Remember, you're here for one thing. $1 million. One with 6 zeros. Not 1 0, 6 zeros. So play hard. And listen, I hate to break it to you, but these people, what? You'll see them at the watch parties. Maybe you'll make close relationships, but it's like these like Facebook friends. They live across the country. I get that. I have some lifelong friendships that I've made from this world, this reality TV world. But like, if someone's going to be that petty over you trying to win $1 million, are they really worth the friendship? So I respect the hell out of Sophie B's hustle. So Steven and Jawan are both dead set on Savannah the Savage. Jawan is so fucking cringe. And like Rizzo is cringe, but Rizzo is funny cringe. Even if I didn't know Rizzo, I would say he's funny cringe. Jawan is not funny cringe. Jawan is like secondhand embarrassment cringe. So Steve and Jawan both want Savannah out. Savannah's going down the tubes because they believe that Savannah is the most strategic, and the most dangerous, or whatever. For me, Rizzo's the most dangerous. What are you talking about? Savannah's the most dangerous. People generally don't seem to like her because all of you seem to want her out immediately. Sage has like a blood vendetta. You would think that Savannah fucking ran over her puppy and then dumped Satan's ass water on it. So to me, I'm very confused why Savannah is the one you're also worried about. In my opinion, Sophie B is a bigger threat than Savannah. Savannah's like the lowest of the three, and I like Savannah. I like her a lot, actually. This was actually my favorite episode of hers. But you have a guy that just said to all of you, I'm playing the idol. And all you motherfuckers believed him, or at least were too intimidated to try knocking him out. I don't know. Something's going on with these players. Some brain's not working. A little too pussyfooty. So I completely missed the idol hunt. Maybe it's because I went to take a shit during this time. I don't know. But I completely missed this idol hunt. I didn't know it happened until after the fact. I was watching South Park and 99 to Beat because they still have friends on there. And I was like, okay, let me tune into Rob Has a Podcast and just see what they're saying about the show. I don't watch a lot of Rob Has a Podcast, but every now and then I tune in to what they're doing. And they mention, oh, Christina has an idol. I'm like, Christina has an idol? Since when? And then I zoom back and I'm like, oh, I went to take a shit during one of the earlier scenes because they had already played some of these secret scenes on the internet before the show began. And I kind of just like tuned out for them because I already saw it, you know? I already saw it. So why do I need to see it again? So Christina, Alex, and Steven, quite the pair, quite the trio, excuse me, go on a idol hunt, a defensive idol hunt. I like that term, defensive idol hunt, because you shouldn't just be trying to find idols, you know, for power. You should be trying to find idols to make sure that your enemies don't find them. Do you really want Savannah or Rizzo or Sophie to have another idol in their possession? You already got Rizzo with one idol, so it's going to completely throw things off. So of all people to find the idol, it's freaking Christina. I was so happy when I saw that because look, I like Ish Steven. Emphasis on the Ish. I like Ish Steven. There's moments with him where I'm like, you're losing me with all of that like space nerd shit talk. Oh, I'm a black hole sucking everybody in or whatever, sucking everyone off. And then that little, what was that? That little graph he made. I showed this when I talked about Survivor the other day. He made like a graphic of all of his relationships in the game. And I was just like, all right. And it showed that he was connected to pretty much everybody except for the three on the bottom. And then Alex, I do not need that man having another idol. I need him to go home. I'm sorry. I need him to go home. But Christina, what a turn. What a twist. I really like her. My biggest fear for her is her getting taken for a ride and going to the end of the competition and having no respect and getting third place with 0 votes. I don't want that for her. I really like her energy. I like how bright she is. I like how fun she is. She is somebody that if I was in the competition, I feel like I would want to work with. I also love her backstory about her mom. I love her backstory on how she got on the show. She has not at any point annoyed me. Everyone else has like at some point gotten on my nerves a little bit. So I was happy for her, like, you know, and we'll see what she does. So Alex, this was another example, and I can't hate on Alex's game, though, because Alex is playing the game the way that you should be. And he basically says, oh, this is great that she has the idol because she's saying that she will play it on me if, you know, I need to, and I will keep it a secret. But if I have to, maybe I'll throw her under the bus. Yes, you have that information. Do it. What I want to know is, Will Sophie B find out about the idol and use that knowledge as power to steal it from Christina? We'll have to see. I could see it. So then moving on, Sage. Sage absolutely hates Savannah. Savannah is a mean girl. Savannah is Regina George. Savannah is everything wrong with the world. I heard that Savannah doesn't put the toilet seat down. She has an eye on the back of her head. She has 10 toes on one foot. Just the worst. But this is when I was starting to think, is Savannah really that bad? Like, she mentioned that, oh, Savannah, makes little comments. And I was like, you know what? I totally get that, because I have been around people that have done that about me, where they make those little backhanded it's kind of at your own expense. Like, oh, Sage, she's gonna go crazy over the chickens. Ha ha ha. It's like not kinda, it is diminishing your emotions. So I totally get that. Do I think they were trying to be mean? No, I don't think that she was trying to be mean when she said that. But I do understand Sage's point. But now it gets to a point where, bitch, you have all the power. You got the numbers on your side. Savannah is on the chopping block. You don't really need to do all this. Rizzo is still trying to win over Sage and Jawan. Good. I wouldn't trust them, though. You fucked me over one time, I'm going to do it again. I don't know if I would want someone like Sage on my side anymore. But then Savannah brought up the point of, well, you're over here saying that I'm, the mean girl, the bad person, and we see that this gets relayed to Sophie B. So I would just assume that Sophie B told Savannah about, all the bullshit that Sage was saying. And Savannah's just like, you go down to the beach with everybody. You're in the best position in this game. And quite frankly, I think Savannah is correct. Not once has Sage's name been brought up for a serious consideration since the tribe swap, when they never even lost. And if they had lost, she wouldn't have gone home. It would have been Shannon. You can tell it would have been Shannon. But Sage is in an excellent position. I would have thought that they would have retaliated, but they're not retaliating. And going into next episode, I don't think Sage is in any danger either. So Sage, this is giving, you're bringing baggage into the competition. And I'm going to be real with you. I brought baggage into my competition. We all bring baggage into into any of these like social strategy shows. Nothing wrong with that. Gotta let it go, though. Savannah is still a person in this competition. Savannah showed that she wanted to work with you. And even if you don't feel like she had your best interest at heart, she still voted the way that you told her to vote, that she said she was going to vote. And she is still trying to build a bridge with you. In some capacity, you should try to, like, get her back, I feel. Am I crazy? Maybe I'm eating crazy pills. I don't know. But this was where Sage was starting to lose me, and it's a shame because I really do like Sage. But now I'm like, no. So we got some more Sophie B content, which I love. That's my girl, Sophie B. And Sophie B is like, yeah, oh, totally, yeah. I don't know why I started doing Jennifer Coolidge, but yeah. When Sage is telling her that Savannah's been a mean girl to her and she's, punching down on her or whatever the fuck she was saying, Sophie's doing the right thing. That's what you do in these games. If someone is bitching about somebody else, bitch away. I want as many enemies in this fucking thing as possible. Why would I want to stop you hating somebody? What, so you can start hating me? Keep hating Savannah. 100%. Oh, and we're on the bottom right now? Yeah, please go hate her so that something can change in the next 2 days and I can get off the bottom. Sorry, Savannah, you got to be a sacrifice so I can get off the bottom and move forward. Get off the sinking ship. So to anyone that maybe is like, oh, Sophie shouldn't be feeding into Sage's thing, it's the smart thing to do. Anytime you see any kind of conflict, fan those motherfucking flames, bitch. Phantom. Phantom like your Mulan in that traditional ceremony thing where she fanned the flame and the matchmaker's butt lit on fire. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You're going to say that you don't, but you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, the next one. Oh, Savannah's okay. So I texted this into my group chat with some I Love Money people. This was one of the first moments that really truly felt like an old school season of Survivor. When Savannah was talking about her experience as when in the workforce, when she took over someone else's position, I guess, last second. So Savannah worked and she was being very careful. I think because she didn't want to I think because she didn't want to catch a lawsuit. I mean, I don't know if they can do that because like, are they really going to do that? Because she could prove them wrong or prove herself right rather. But she's probably just trying to not, like burn any contacts that she has with anybody, which is very smart. But she was a reporter for she was a reporter for CBS. I thought that reporters for CBS can't come on. Oh, she's a weekend reporter now for CBS. Maybe she started that after. I got to figure that out. Because I'm pretty sure that there's a rule that you can't go on a Survivor if you work in any capacity for CBS. Maybe I'm wrong though. I don't know. Anyways, so this story really like moved me. So, and I related to it a lot, honestly. I've been in the same position as her. So she comes in to her job and she gets bullied and isolated to these people by these other reporters because they don't feel like she deserved to, I guess, steal somebody's job or whatever. And it was so miserable and she couldn't leave because she was locked in a contract and she can't have kids anymore. I was like, what? First of all, HR. Second of all, you're getting sued. Third of all, what the fuck is going on here? That's awful. What makes it worse is that when she was telling the story, if you took out the fact that she was a news reporter on air, it probably wouldn't make sense to you why it was affecting her so much. Because if people are talking shit about you, you just leave the room. Like, there wouldn't be any situations where you need to like fake smile with them or they act nice or whatever. Like when she was saying that, I was like, oh, when you got to do group projects? But then I remembered she was she's a reporter, an on-camera reporter. So the vision I was getting was, oh, these people were literally being nice and smiley with you on air. And then the second those cameras went down, those bitches would ice you out and talk shit about you to your face. That is insane. And she couldn't do anything about it because if she would have done something about it, she's unprofessional. I don't know how early in her career this was. I don't remember if she said. But that's a shame. And if Savannah does see this, you're a strong-ass lady. And look at you now, potentially a millionaire, rumor has it. And you're a great player. And you're a great cast member. I'm having a lot of fun watching you on this show. There's a lot of PTSD that I get now with watching these shows just because of my experience. And when she was talking about how it looks like no one wants to, talk to her, people can't be seen with her, she's being, isolated. That really did, like break my heart. I can empathize with that a lot. I experienced that. It's a terrible feeling. I don't understand why people do it in these games. I do get that you don't want to be associated with someone who's on the bottom. Like maybe you'll be guilt by association. But that doesn't mean you can't talk friendly with them at the camp. You're telling like Steven. Steven's a good player. he had that long conversation with her about that whole, her job being fucked up. That's what you do on these things. Yeah, we're playing a game, but the reason why there is such a thing as bitter juries is because you have motherfuckers that don't want to associate with people that are on the bottom. That when they have power, they feel like, oh, I don't really need to talk to this person. I'm going to let this person feel like a piece of shit. Well, don't expect their vote in the final 2 or final 3 or whatever you want to, whatever it is at this point. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if there's like a final 6-7. Yeah, there you go. I did it for all you tweens that are watching me for whatever reason. So anyways, great story, Savannah. I'm glad they included that on the show. That's probably going to be a story that I remember. There's a lot of stories I don't remember, but I'll remember that one. And just like how I remembered Couture's backstory about escaping the cult. Man, I want to hear more about these people's stories, their lives, like deeper. I feel like we don't really do that on this show anymore. Like, yeah, people talk about their sob stories, they get a segment or whatever, but like, what happened to like what, like really like cool conversations? I want to watch that sometime. They should do a live feed with Survivor. They never will, but that would be really dope. Like some extras. Anyways, the challenge. I hope I didn't miss anything. The challenge. So this is a classic challenge. I immediately thought, when I saw this, I immediately thought of Heroes and Villain when they did this, the foothold thing for one of the immunity challenges. And Rupert had this, his toe was fucked up. It was torn the hell up. He was going through it in that season. But he did that shit, and that was like one of the only times I remember Sandra winning a challenge. She actually won that challenge for her team. But it was giving very that. So we got to talk about this. This is a split thing. What my gut is telling me is that originally this episode was probably meant to be a double boot. Remember, they didn't anticipate Jake being eliminated. And they surprised us by telling us, if you listen to On Fire, which On Fire is a little cringe, but I think Survivor is a little cringe in the best of ways. But I would definitely recommend listening to On Fire solely because you do get a lot of behind the scenes peeks. Jeff doesn't have the best of takes, but I've heard worse takes from some of you nerds out there. But apparently they weren't supposed to merge at 11. They only had to do that because of Jake. I guess because they wanted to keep both of their tribe swaps. They didn't want to get rid of that aspect of the game. So now the whole game is like, kind of screwed up on the format. I feel like we could have dropped this twist. I mean, I do and I don't. My thing is, this is basically like putting them back in teams. What was the point in merging last episode if they're just going to go back into teams? This could have been how Mergatory works. Instead of a Mergatory being everyone votes, just okay, you're in tribe still, but one of you is going to get to vote, and you guys can live on the same beach. I don't know, but like at this point, I'm sick of dividing them. We do this every goddamn. Has there been a season in the new era where they haven't done this? I feel like there always has been. Am I wrong? If I'm wrong, someone tell me. There's none of you watching live, but in the comments section, please let me know. It's just, I'm kind of over it. I will say that I was intrigued, though, by this twist. So basically, they're split randomly into 5 groups, and only the winning group will have immunity. It's just like having 2 tribes compete. But the ultimate winner, last one standing, gets an advantage in the game. I kind of like that. You don't have to search for shit, be good at I Spy, unlock a key, or whatever bullshit. It's just, how bad do you want it? This was a fun challenge to watch. It was a good shakeup. The best Survivor challenges, for me, are the ones where they're not even really moving all that much. What I liked about this was this physical? Yeah, but it was more about mental fortitude. There was a moment where I thought Sophie B was going to win this challenge because they did a whole thing on her where you hear her praying, Heavenly Father up above, Shout out to Gloria Query. And it's like, it was like I was on acid. I'm like, what am I witnessing right now? They're like zooming in on her. They're like fading in and out. Like I'm about to die. I was like, what is going on? I was expecting angels and the archangels to start singing in the air, and the challenge keeps going. So eventually it comes down to Savannah and Sophie S. Which, by the way, why is she not going by Sophina? Why are they just not doing Sophie and Sophina? She literally was on the Hina tribe, so just call her Sophina. Her fucking legal name is probably not Sophie. It probably is Sophina. That's what Sophie's short for. Anyways, Sophina and Savannah are going at it. And Savannah is getting a little cocky because she's like, oh, what's the record for this challenge? And you just see Sage rolling her eyes, Sophie rolling her eyes, or Sophina rolling her eyes. I'm like, oh, this is a moment where I'm like, is it a little annoying? Yeah, but I've heard more annoying shit come out of Jawan's mouth, and none of you rolled your eyes. Oh, I didn't mention this. Jawan said something that was so weird. Did any of you catch this? When they were handing out the rocks, Jawan like said to Jeff, "Oh, Uncle Jeff, do you like me?" I was so confused by that. I don't know. Maybe I need to watch the episode back and I missed it. Maybe it was a joke, or maybe he was like, oh, give me a good rock or whatever. But it was just, it sounded so weird. It was giving very like, you have low self-esteem. And I think he said that in a previous thing. But like, major insecurity. Who the hell says that to Jeff Pro? It sounded like you're trying to suck his dick. Like you want his, not, you know what? I'm going to take back the whole self insecure thing. It gave more of, you want like Jeff's appraisal or approval or whatever, and like you're just trying to like get Jeff to suck your dick this whole game. I'm also sick of hearing this Uncle Jeff thing. For some reason, there's always like one player now that does like a nickname for Jeff. Have you guys noticed that? Like the dread-headed beef guy. God, what's his name? Oh my God, what's his name? Jonathan, who's going to be on season 50. That guy being like, oh, Mr. Jeff. Like, who the fuck are you, Mr. Robinson? And then who else had a dumbass nickname? Oh, I remember Chelsea being like Auntie Julie on Big Brother. I just don't feel like these nicknames are necessary. I really don't. And it's like, to me, it's giving, you're trying to be familiar with Jeff. And I don't think there's anything wrong with being familiar. He is a normal person, just like anybody else is. But it's giving, you're trying to make it a thing. And it's just not a thing. Fetch is not Fetch is not happening. Anyways, where was I? Oh, Savannah and Sophie. So Savannah and Sophie going at it. Two badass women. Sophie at this point is proving herself to be a very strong competitor. She didn't go to tribal council at all pre-merge, so that means that she won every single tribe challenge. Even if she wasn't first place, she was at least first or second. That means you did good on that. Now you won both the pre-challenge and the main individual challenge of the merge. Now you're in the top 2 for a very intense endurance challenge against someone who needs to win or they're going home. In this moment, I was screaming at the TV, there is nowhere else for you to be right now. Pain is temporary. Bitch, if you drop, you are going home. And I was yelling all that at Savannah. And I so desperately want back, like, obvious rooting. Have the balls, have some guts, and just yell out, drop, Sophie, drop, drop. Savannah, drop it. Drop, Savannah. Savannah, these bitches try to vote you off. Don't forget, if you drop, you're going home. Think about that. Think about all the votes. Think about Nate. Why not? Make it so, call it bad sportsmanship all you want. I would love to see it. Y'all would be hella annoyed with me because I definitely would do that shit. So anyways, Savannah she was rock solid that whole thing. I was like, she's not dropping, even when she was in a little bit of pain. She ends up winning. So she is safe from elimination. Sophie B is safe from elimination. Alex is safe. Steven is safe. And Christina. So the 3 idol hunters who all went together are all safe. And then you have the 2 on the bottom. On paper, the majority should be shitting a brick. Shitting a brick. Because the only person on the bottom eligible to be voted off is Rizzo, the Riz God, who has an idol. Ah, shit, what are we going to do? But then Rizzo comes to confessional. Oh, I'm not playing my idol. I am not joking you. The first thing I did was I texted that motherfucker. And I was like, you better play that idol. You're stressing me the hell out. And for me, I mean, just to be honest, like, we all know that Rizzo and Savannah are on 50. So clearly they had to have at least done well. But this episode was kind of the point where I was like, I could see Jeff still putting Rizzo on because of how he was in the first episode and for what he did last episode. Like, I could still see him being like, all right, let's put him in there as like a wild card. So to me, it wasn't off the table that he would go home this episode with an idol in his pocket. He's done enough to deserve a second chance. Absolutely. So now we've got the 5 vulnerable players. We have Sage, Jawan from Uli, Riz God on the bottom, and Sophie S and MC. So Sophie S immediately makes herself a target. That was the first act of stupidity amongst a cavalcade of stupidity. It was like the dumbass circus was in town and everyone was a performer except for what? I've gone like back and forth actually about this whole, I don't know how to feel about this whole night. But what I will say is that Rizzo has balls of motherfucking steel. Like, that was insane. I don't know how, like, that was just really crazy. But this whole episode was nonstop. This. Let me get my little music. Fucking ads, YouTube. Stop advertising to me. I don't want Duolingo. I don't want to learn anything else. I've got it. I've got English, I've got Spanish, and I got Japanese. Konnichiwa. Dum 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 dum. Dum 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 dum. So Sophie S went back to camp. Dum 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 dum. And she told everybody to lie and say the vote was on her. Dum 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 dum. That was the first dumbass act. Why are you making yourself a target? Because now, if you are the vote, you have absolutely no way of knowing if it's bullshit or not. If you didn't say, oh, go tell Rizzo that I'm the plan, then if it got out that you were getting your name thrown out, you would know you're in danger and you need to do something. Maybe get a shot in the dark, look for an idol, do something. So I will never understand people volunteering to be the decoy plan. To me, it's akin to volunteering to go on the block. However, I'm not going to hold y'all. The entire time this was going on, I was like, Sophie is not going home. You know why? I pay attention to things. So many of you out there are like, oh, there's a winner's edit. Oh, there's a winner's edit. But y'all fail to like see things. Like, they're not going to show you something on this show for no reason. Sophie and Christina had this whole beef that was out of nowhere mentioned when Christina and Sophie were having no confessionals whatsoever. Why would they show us that Christina and Sophie are having problems with each other from the very start? Like, Christina was targeting her. Why would they show us that if it was never going to have a payoff? I think there's going to be a battle between Sophie S and Christina at some point. or they're going to put their differences aside. I don't know, but something's going to pay off. So in my mind, I was like, Sophie S is not going to go home. You're not going to trick me. So Sophie, dumb, volunteers to be the decoy plan. And everyone says, all right, you are a strong challenge competitor. But then people start to think in themselves, yeah, you are good at challenges. Yeah, you haven't really lost. This is your first time losing a challenge. So maybe we should vote you off.
There goes that kooky Joseph Smith.
He claims he spoke with God and Jesus.
Well, how do you?
Well, it's true. I did.
Where?
I was out in the woods. God and Jesus. None of the others.
Believe it now?
Believe Joseph. Dum, 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 dum.
It took a second for my joke to land. I'm going to do that again. We're going to redo it. So then they start to thinking that, oh, maybe we actually should vote her off.
Why would he make that up?
Dum, 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 dum.
Dumb. All right. So now Sophie's in hot water. And Rizzo's like, oh, this is great. Yeah, we got to get rid of her. Yeah. But then Sophie pulls MC to the side and is like, you know what? I want to have a surefire thing. We can put all the votes on Rizzo, but he does have an idol. What the fuck are you doing? My goddamn cat. My pussy is always getting herself in trouble. So Rizzo, all 4 votes are going to go on him. But Sophie has the idea, oh, let's put a hinky vote on somebody in case, Rizzo plays his idol. Which is smart. Smart. So she decides to tell MC this because her and MC have spent like pretty much the whole season together. Why wouldn't you tell someone who you're in an alliance with and you've been, in the same group with since day one? Like, why wouldn't you tell her? So she tells MC, let's put a vote on Jawan. Perfect! Because Jawan just told you, MC, that he doesn't really trust you anymore because you had that idol. So this is perfect. So either Rizzo's going to go, who you're not working with, who has an idol, or if he plays it on the revote, you can send home Jawan, who is not in your alliance, who has connections outside of you, and who doesn't really trust you. Well, if you thought that MC was going to go with that plan, you were dumb. So MC decides that she has an amazing plan. I'm going to go tell Jawan that Sophie is plotting to throw a vote on him. Dumb. What the hell is she thinking? You're on a tribe with 5 motherfuckers. One has an idol. Everyone's planning to gang up on them. You don't have to do anything. And there's a contingency plan to take a vote on Jawan. But you want to pipe up to do what? And my thing is, if she wanted to take out Sophie, it would make sense. Okay, you're going to go tell Jawan. Okay, you're going to go tell him. So that way you can, be prepared and maybe take Sophie out on the revote. Okay. But she says to Jawan that, oh, Rizzo is still the priority. We still want to get Rizzo out of here. Why did you tell him this shit then? If you didn't want Sophie to go, or I mean, if you didn't want Sophie to go, why the fuck would you throw her under the bus to Jawan? Because if I'm Jawan and you're telling me someone is trying to like low-key get me out, they gotta go home. You stupid? Dumb. So Jawan, of course, who I can't believe I am saying on day 15 of this show, is the only one with any kind of sense. And he says in his confessional, well, maybe now I can't go after Rizzo because Rizzo's over here, like, trying to rebuild the bridge with me. And Sophie I'm expendable to her. Dum, 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 dum. So Jawan went over to Sophie, dum, 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 dum. And he tells Sophie that MC threw him under the bus, dum, 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 dum. So MC, fabulous job. What did you win for throwing Sophie under the bus? Oh, well, you won a fabulous prize. Now nobody trusts you on this fucking beach. Within a matter of seconds, everyone knows that you threw Sophie everyone knows that you threw Sophie under the bus. To me, MC is the more fucked up one than Sophie is, because any rational person would think in their mind, yeah, why not throw a vote? Why not? Why wouldn't I guarantee that we are going to be safe? You, on the other hand, threw her under the fucking bus for no reason. To who? To some jackass that you wanted to, like, repair a relationship? How about someone you already have a relationship with? So Sophie's talking to Jawan, and she's feeling really dumb, 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 dumb. And now she's worried that she's going to be voted off. So then we cut back to Savannah, who, remember, Savannah has an advantage. We don't know what it is. I literally wrote in my notes, MC tattles, and then Jawan tattles. It was a game of tattletale. What is this? Okay. So Savannah finds out that her advantage is that she will be attending tribal council as the 6th member. I don't know. Survivor really loves 6 for some reason. 6, 7. There you go. I gave you another one. So Savannah's advantage is that she gets to go to tribal council with the immunity necklace, full blown, and she gets a vote. But she can choose whether she wants to vote at tribal council or she wants to bank her vote and save it for a future round. Very much similar to Lauren back in season 44, who had the same advantage. What I like about this advantage is that if Savannah plays her cards right, she can get out of this without anybody knowing that she has an advantage. It could just be, oh, her advantage is that she gets to go vote. Even though that sounds kind of stupid. Like, what do you mean? Your advantage is that you get to go vote? Like, there has to be something else. I want to see next episode if anyone thinks about that, if there has to be something else, which I would imagine there is somebody that's going to think about that. If they didn't, they would be dumb, 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 dumb. So Savannah's like, oh yeah, this is great. So let's take a look at this trio. Sophie B, knowledge is power. Savannah, extra vote. Rizzo, immunity idol. So they've got an idol and advantage and the power to steal someone else's idol or advantage. They fucked up. So Savannah joins and everyone shits their pants. Mostly because all of that scheming that went on about throwing a hinky vote is completely out the door. They have no idea that Savannah can bank her vote. In their minds, there's 6 people voting. So now you can't throw a hinky vote because at the very least, Savannah and Rizzo are going to vote together. You can't really split if Savannah and Rizzo are together. What makes this even funnier is that if the other tribe had lost, or not if the other tribe had lost, if someone, I don't know, but they could have been in a situation where they would have been able to split the vote. Like if Rizzo and Savannah were on this tribe and they had both not had immunity, and then someone else came over and had immunity, they could have been able to split it. So Savannah really did like pull this out. I actually think if Sophie would have won, they would have been in the position to split the vote. Because if she would have came over, yeah, they would have had a choice between Savannah and Sophie B. So they could have split the vote. So that was a really, what's that called? A clutch win from Savannah. So out of nowhere now, Rizzo. Oh my God, my fucking computer sucks. So out of nowhere, Rizzo is going to run the vote. I was like, what? So Rizzo started getting this like really cocky edit Like they were showing him to be very, very cocky. And I was like, oh my God, this is his downfall. But oddly enough, it was showing to maybe be working. I was like, what? So he's going around and everything he's saying, I'm like, fabulous. Great. These are all really great ideas. Essentially what he's saying is, why are we voting well, oh, let me back this up. Anybody in Rizzo's position that wants to hold on to their idol and is, the obvious target would be playing it safe, would be trying to, go under the radar and let other things go. Rizzo, on the other hand, is like, I'm gonna, try to work this vote. I hope that he inspires future players to do the same thing. What I have found is that people on Survivor play very scared, and they would rather other people take charge than you take charge. And if you have someone who is actively pushing a vote and they're very confident about it, and they have some type of power, which Rizzo has the idol, so he does have some type of power. And the crack was already there with Sophie and MC doing all that dumb shit. He had a lot of sway. So he's basically saying everyone's afraid of Sophie B because she won an immunity and then she, got second in the next one. And he's just like, Sophie B is not, I mean, not Sophie B, Sophie S is not the Terminator. And I was like, thank you. I don't feel like someone doing good in one or two challenges warrants targeting them. You know who else won one or two challenges? Susie from Gabon. Sugar won two. It's like people can win one or two challenges. That doesn't mean they're unstoppable. I think the last time there's been an unstoppable person on Survivor has been like Mike Holloway, which was already almost 20 seasons ago, which I want to barf at that. That's crazy. It was that long ago. But it's like that shouldn't really be what weighs in your mind. When you look at MC and Sophie doesn't have as many allies as MC does. MC will go back and she has Steven and she has Christina. Whereas with what's her name? Sophie S, I guess the reason we haven't really seen a whole lot from her is because she doesn't really have anybody. And if you're saying that everyone and if you have Sage and Jawan basically saying, oh, no one's really going to be mad at us if we come back without Sophie S. Oh, and I think they said that to Rizzo. Oh, okay, if no one's going to be upset about it, that means y'all don't really fucking give a shit about her. So if I'm on the bottom, why would I want to give you guys what you want? No, I want to give what I want. And if y'all are too pussy to make a move against me, then I'm going to, force your hand and take out the person that you want to stay. And I'm going to take out the person that I want to go. And he did it. But then you had Sophie S talking about oh, I don't really basically being like, what the fuck is this guy doing? And that was when I was starting to be like, oh Lord, is this Rizzo's demise? I really hope it is not his demise. Sage is also getting really pissed because it's like, all right, I followed your guys' wishes and I voted Nate off, even though I wanted Savannah or Rizzo. Now we're doing it again. Well, Sage, this is why you need to play like Rizzo and take the game by its balls and do what the fuck you want. If you want something, push for it. Don't be afraid to push for it. I guarantee you, if she had really put her foot down and said, I know Rizzo is not playing his idol, let's take him out or Savannah out, they would have done it. I think they would have done it. The problem is that people are afraid to put themselves in a position of leadership or to be adamant about something. And I think it says something about our culture nowadays not just necessarily generational, but I think our culture nowadays, people are afraid of confrontation. And it's crazy I'm saying that about her when she refused a hug from Shannon. But Rizzo is playing how you should play. If you want something done, do it yourself. And he said in his confessional, 10th place or 4th place doesn't matter. I'm here to win. And this is a moment, this is a winning moment right here. You flipping the vote on who you want to get out and then holding onto an idol. Anyways, I don't want to harp on it too much. So we get to tribal council, and I'm shitting bricks because in my mind, these people are all voting for Rizzo. To me, I'm so used to tribal councils after tribal councils of bullshit from people, of people just like saying whatever and it's all a farce. I have not seen a real raw tribal council where people are genuinely throwing each other under the bus, being honest about what they're doing and what the stakes are. Like, it's been fucking forever. And quite frankly, I miss it. I don't think it's bad gameplay to state the obvious. If everyone already knows, okay, it's either me or you, just say it. I am curious how accurate that was, if that whole live tribal changed anything, but it felt like way too forced. It felt like, so I was like, where is this coming from? And maybe it's because we haven't seen a lot of Sophie S in the game, but I was just like, they're pulling a stunt. I don't know. I smell a stunt. So they're talking about it's Uli versus Hina all over again. I'm like, oh, here we go. Here we go again. Nothing new, nothing changed. Same old shit. Same old fucking shit. Tribe versus tribe. That shit's dead. It's been dead. Last episode, Sage and Jawan killed it. But they're talking about how for this round to play it safe, it's kind of Uli versus Hina all over again. I don't necessarily feel that that's what it is. What I feel is that you two turned on each other. You confided in MC, and then MC fucked you over by telling on you. If MC didn't do that, we would be saying a much different story. So I don't know. It was giving very like victim mentality. There was a lot of victim mentality tonight. So then Jeff, does the vote, and then MC's like, wait, hold on. And I was like, wait, is there an advantage? What is Savannah have to say something? And then she goes over to Jawan. Was it Jawan? And she's whispering. When I find the producer/editor that made the decision to not tell us what the fuck the bitches were saying, I got a black for you. I got a black. Why the fuck did we not get to be privy on what the fuck they were talking about? We gotta wait a whole week to find out what the fuck the discussion was, or until MC talks our shit on all of those podcasts or whatever. I was so irritated. So she's like whispering to Jawan, and then everyone starts whispering except for Sophie. And I'm like, well, and then out of nowhere, it's everyone's whispering except for Rizzo. I don't understand what the whole point of that was. What it was giving was all of you are paranoid. None of you have your shit together. This is how you know you're dealing with a group of newbies. This is very simple. Vote Rizzo. There are 3 people on the bottom. Is that a big number? No. But after tonight, there's going to be 9 of you. 3 can slowly become almost half the vote. This motherfucker got an idol. So either vote his ass. So either you're going to get his ass out or you're going to flush it. Sage and Jawan, flush the shit. Even if it doesn't work, do you really care about losing Sophie S or MC? Do you really care? And if Rizzo stays, you have Alex, you have Christina, you have Steven, and you have whoever stayed. Why do you care? I don't get these people. Pussies! Pussy. Pussycat meow. So they go up to go vote after that weird ass live tribal that I need to watch back. Survivor 49 cast, I'm giving you shit, but thank you for being entertaining. I wouldn't be recapping tonight if I wasn't entertained. I wasn't entertained earlier this season. I was entertained tonight. So I'm shitting on y'all, but I'm shitting on y'all with love. These are love turds that are flying out of my coochie right now onto y'all's souls. So the live tribal, I love the music they're doing, by the way. This has been good tribal council music on this season of Survivor. So then they get to the vote. I'm literally watching the vote, and I'm like, I got my Instagram going because I'm like, oh my God. And I'm thinking Rizzo might go home, and I'm like, ugh. In the back of my mind, I'm like, he's probably all right. I feel like he needs to show a little bit more to warrant him going on season 50, which again, Survivor really dropped the ball by like letting that cast leak. It's so obvious now that Savannah and Rizzo are on. And after this episode, I see why they're on. This was both of their breakout episodes. This is when I got to see the Rizzo that I love. Like, this is a great, like, this is the fun Rizzo, like playing balls to the wall as, you know, as you should. You're only in Survivor, like, potentially once. Why not play balls to the wall? So the vote comes. MC. I'm like, oh, that's probably Rizzo's vote. So then the next vote is going to tell me either this is a blind side on Rizzo or he's done. Oh, and I mean, unsurprisingly, Savannah chooses not to vote. Very cute. So the next vote, Sophie. I'm like, oh my tits. This motherfucker pulled it off. Oh, and I didn't even mention he'd play the idol. I was like, you didn't play the idol. Insanity. So he doesn't play the idol, and it's one vote MC, one vote Sophie. And I'm like, all right, this is what's going to determine it. Either there's a hinky vote in there, like the Sophie was the hinky vote. I don't know. Then the next vote, MC. I'm like, Rizzo fucking pulled this off. And then 8th person voted out, MC. Dum, 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 dum. Great job to Rizzo. Great job to Rizzo. And when I say great job to Rizzo, he read that room correctly. And I mean, I want to know more from his perspective when the season is over. But the show's perspective shows us that he was never going to play the idol, regardless of how they were. I want to know, would he have played the idol if he felt something off? Or was he determined to just not play it and gamble? Because that's going to determine how I view this move. If he read the room correctly and chose not to play it, love it. Amazing. Spectacular. This was a great moment for you. If he just was never playing it at all, I'm a little bit more on the side of these people are fucking stupid. But I want to know. I feel like if he felt something was off, I feel like he would have played it. I don't think he would have just let the vote go if he didn't feel like something was off. But he put the work in. And that was why Jawan and Sage were like, all right, I guess we'll let him stay. Sage really got fucked over here. Like, she wanted Sophie out. She wanted Rizzo out, didn't get it. She wanted Sophie out, didn't get it. Like, just terrible. But this was like a bold ass move for him. And this was the moment where you go from just being a Survivor player to being like a memorable figure, like Carolyn level. And the next episode looks like it's going to get even more wild. So MC's voted out 4-1. And Rizzo got through with his hidden immunity idol intact. Y'all, did you watch season 46? People love burning a hole in their pocket with those idols. It's worth a try to flush it out. Especially if you're like Sage and Jawan in no danger. To me, Sage and Jawan were the biggest losers of this episode. Was MC stupid for what she did and got voted out? Yeah. But of all the people still in the competition, I didn't feel like Sophie was all that dumb tonight. I didn't. Well, I thought making herself the decoy plan was dumb. But, that whole, like, kinky vote thing, I didn't find that to be dumb. And if she does stay, I'm interested in seeing her stay. And she was someone else I liked, before the season started. I liked her energy. But there was just a lot of dumb gameplay here. Like, Jawan and Sage just really dropped the ball. MC really dropped the ball. I think the problem for this, like, super majority alliance is it was a perfect storm of everything that could go wrong. Savannah won the advantage. Sophie B had immunity, and then Rizzo had his idol. And you had 3 people on that tribe or 4 people on that tribe, excuse me, that were all pussies. MC does not have good strategy. No shade. All shade, no shade. Jawan, I don't feel has good strategy. Sage is blinded by pettiness and personal feelings. And I feel like Sophie does have good strategy. She's the most, like, strategically sound on there. I feel like if Steven was on that beach, if Christina was on that beach, and if Alex was on that beach, this would have been a different conversation. I feel like Rizzo would have been more likely to play his idol. I think he felt safe not playing it because all of his Uli people were on, the tribe. So he felt confident. But if Steven and the others were there, I feel like they would have just went for it and tried to flush the idol. And if it didn't work, it didn't work. But I want to hear what Rizzo was thinking. I need to know, were you never going to play it, or did you know, I don't need to play it? So they fucked up. All right, you were too big of pussies to go after the idol at the merge vote. And then you were even bigger pussies to go after it at the second vote. Now you're at top 9. Sophie B, Rizzo, and Savannah are all still together. And now they have an idol. And then Savannah has an advantage. You don't know what it is. They don't know Sophie B has an advantage. But you know for a fact that at least Rizzo and Savannah, who I guess are your top 2 targets, have advantages. So now what the fuck are you going to do? When are you going to take the shot? Are you just going to let them skate to the end now? Because you're too big of pussies? What are you going to do? The preview for next episode looks really fun. So Rizzo says, we have all the power. I want to know, is Sophie going to tell them about the knowledge is power? I really don't know. I want to find out what she does with it. She's going to do something. She's going to do something with her knowledge is power, but I don't know what. I'm really interested to find out. So, yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. That's the end of the episode. This was quite the episode, and this was fun to recap. Talking for about an hour, why not? So next episode, November 19th. If you're loyal to all, you're loyal to none. That sounds like my own quote. Bitch, did someone steal a quote of mine? That's how I feel, though. If you're loyal to all, you're loyal to none. I say that whenever I said that in Beast, but I say that whenever I do those little online games. Well, I don't say if you're loyal to all, you're loyal to none. I say a friend to all is a friend to all is an ally to none. And what that means is someone that pays lip service to every single person can't be trusted. And we see next episode, they're going after a he. And they were making it look like it's Jawan. I don't think it's Jawan. I think it's Alex. I think that next episode, Sophie is finally going to get her spot as the last Kelly member standing and knock Alex out. Alex is friends with everybody there. He is, on paper. The only other person who has more connections than him is probably Steven. So I think next episode, Steven or Jawan or Steven or Alex are going to be in danger. I don't even know how I would divide this group up. I mean, obviously Rizzo, Savannah, and Sophie are going to try staying together. Is Sophie now going to flip to work with them because Rizzo just saved her? I don't know. She's not really that fond of either of her Hina members that left her out of the alliance. But I can't really tell. And she tried, getting Jawan out, and Sage said she wanted her out. So maybe Sophie flips over. Maybe Sophie tries to get Christina. I don't know. Steven, Christina, and Alex definitely stay together. Sage and Jawan, I would assume go back to them because they have the little, what was that alliance called? Some stupid name. So this maybe is a 5-4, but you've got Savannah's extra vote, the knowledge power, and the hidden immunity idol. One thing I got to give kudos to to Survivor recently is there 4 advantages / idols in the game right now? Yes. But I don't feel like the game is oversaturated or overwhelming with these idols or advantages like I did in previous seasons. In previous seasons, it was getting ridiculous. There was a point where there was always 3 people with idols, and then there would also be like 4 people with either no vote or they had some type of weird advantage, like steal a vote, extra vote, pussy vote, take a shit vote, extra leg vote. Like it was a really weird gynecologist vote. I don't know. Like it was just a weird shit. I don't feel overwhelmed by this. In my mind, I'm like, okay, Christina and Rizzo have idols. Savannah has the extra vote, and then Sophie has the knowledge is power. That's still half the cast, 4 of the people, but it's not too much. Like I can get behind an idol. I can get behind a bonus vote. Like there's no weird rules. Like remember when they did those amulets? I hated those things because I never remembered who had them. I would always have to remember what the rules were. It's so weird. So we've got a top 9 of Alex, Jawan, Christina, Rizzo, Sage, Savannah, Sophie, both the Sophies for some reason, and Steven. I understand why Savannah and Rizzo were chosen for 50. The others, I think the only other contender is Sophie B. The others, Steven is like, here's the thing with Steven and Sophie. Here's the thing with a couple of these people. I feel like each season has a good set of characters, and there always are going to be solid people. Like, I think Steven's a solid character, a solid player. Sophie's a solid player. Sophie S, is a solid player. But it's not every season that you have people that really stand out. And to me, the new era, players that have really stood out are people like Dee, Carolyn, Shan, Q, I'm not that big a fan of Charlie, but I would put Charlie in that category. Mostly he's very lucky he lost. I don't think he would be as memorable if he won. Joe, I think, was pretty memorable. Say was pretty memorable. Like, you have people who every now and then really do stand out. Oh, Genevieve is probably up there as well. Yeah. But then you have other people like, I'm looking at season 47 right now. Sam Phelan, good player, but is he like Hall of Fame or like potential legend? Is he a potential mother? I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say really for anyone else on season 47 except for Genevieve and maybe Andy. And then season 48, no, I don't see any potential mothers. So on Survivor, there's so many people at this point, so many seasons. If you really want to make your mark, don't just do what other people have done. Don't just play like a clean, solid game and say the same things that everyone else says. Do something, bitch. Have a story. Take some risks. So I respect Rizzo and Savannah, and I do feel now that they made the right choice. And I'm interested to see where the game goes. As always, people are going to ask me, okay, who are you rooting for? I'm going to be team Sophie B and team Rizzo until the very end of this thing. I also like Savannah, and I also like Christina. I would say any of the women winning except for Sage, I would be happy with. And then Rizzo, I would like to win for the men. If Steven won, I wouldn't be all that upset. Honestly, I'm fine with any of these people winning except for Alex, Jawan, and Sage. The rest of them, okay. Do I want Steven to win? Not really. But Sophie S, not kind. I don't know. She's giving. But I'm always going to be Sophie B and Rizzo because those are my peeps. And I'm loyal, bitch. I'm loyal to the soil. And they both have been playing a really fucking good game. It's so, it's so nice seeing people that I'm friends with actually do well on competitions because I've had friends go on shows before and been god awful in the game. And it's like I hate having to like shit on your game, but it's like Rizzo and Sophie are actually playing good games. And they know if they were not playing good games, I'd tell them not playing good games. Like last episode, Rizzo did not do good, but this was a good episode for him. So the question is, can Rizzo, Savannah, and Sophie push on through? Can they flip enough numbers over to make something happen? They got the advantages to do it. We'll have to find out. Let me know in the comments. Have you been enjoying this season? Where would you rank this? Is this the best new era season so far? I feel like this season has had a really good second half. The first half lost me. Unlike 48, where 48 had a really good first half and a really bad second half. So Survivor 49 finished strong because we got season 50 coming up, and I want to be raring to go. I don't want to be bored with Survivor by that point. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. To any of you that are watching with us live, and to any of you that are watching this back, I know most of you watch back as I am doing this like literally in the middle of the night. So thank you all so much. And as always, I've been your host and HBIC, Slightly Bitta. If you love what I do, consider giving me a follow. Join the Bitter Brigade. Why not? It's easy. It's free. You can like the button, share it with all your friends, have a laugh or two, giggle. We're at 2.28 thousand subscribers. So maybe let's try to get to 2.3. Why not? That'd be cool. And check back either tomorrow or Friday, where Chantel and I will be recapping episode 4 of Traders Canada. If you haven't been watching Traders Canada yet, it's very good. There is ways for you to can't say the word, but there are ways for you to Traders Canada. So I would recommend doing it, and then come watch us talk shit about it. And as long as Survivor stays good, I probably will be back next week to talk about this show again. So until next time, stay followed, stay tuned. Most importantly, stay bitter. Have an amazing night, everybody. Deuces.